Grenada's plans to transform the agriculture sector highlighted at international meeting in Guyana. Details to this story and more in the national report. With the details to the news for Tuesday, January 29th, I am Leslie Ann Johnson. Some of Grenada's plans to transform the agriculture sector took the spotlight at the 17th session of the Committee for the Review of the Implementation of the UN Convention to Combat Desertification, or UNCCD, being held in Guyana. The plans were highlighted by this country's Agriculture Minister, the Honorable Yolande Bain Hosford, who is among more than 400 delegates from all over the world. A major talking point is the link between desertification, land degradation, and climate change. Minister Bain Hosford spoke to some of the initiatives to tackle the challenges.
Grenada undertook the setting up of the voluntary land degradation neutrality (LDN) targets, and that should be achieved by 2030. And the targets were increase the fertility and productivity of 580 hectares of cropland by 2030, transform 800 hectares of abandoned cropland into agroforestry by 2030. Implement soil conservation measures on 120 hectares of land by 2030. Rehabilitation of 385 hectares of degraded land at Bellevue South in Carriacou, that's an island near to Grenada, small island, by 2030. Rehabilitation of 100 hectares of degraded forest in Grenada and Carriacou by 2030. And increase forest carbon stocks by 10% by 2030. These are the targets that we hope to achieve.
The Agriculture Minister also provided information on a Moroccan government-funded project that relates to soil mapping.
Regarding soil care, the transformative project funded by the Moroccan government, we started a project in soil care and the mapping of the soil, etc. in Grenada. We now have almost completed that project. We can hand over to the farmers now pretty soon information so that they can do the proper planting, they can know the fertility of the soil, they can know how much fertilizer to put in their soils, what not to put, and that kind. So they will have a status on their soils in Grenada. We have done that project. It's almost completed. And that would be a plus for the farmers, knowing, how much fertilizer to add to their soil, what they can, do to their soil, knowing how healthy their soils are and what they can plant, and the timing and all of that. All of that is part of the whole soil care program in Grenada, and it's going very well.
Grenada is also represented at the meeting by Mr. Trevor Thompson, focal point for the UN Convention to Combat Desertification. The convention will conclude on Wednesday. The government of Grenada has made good on a promise to introduce traffic wardens as part of innovative efforts to bolster the work of the traffic department of the Royal Grenada Police Force. The move comes against the background of a significant increase in the number of vehicles on the nation's roads, a growing number of traffic offences committed by motorists, and an ongoing need to safeguard pedestrians. Addressing the 60 persons who are being trained as the first group of traffic wardens, Minister for Transport, the Honorable Gregory Bowen, said this is the first component of the solution to fix the traffic situation.
Every year, during the last 5 years, from 2013 to 2018, the increase in registration was 42%. For ease of calculation, and if we use a 50%, that is, if the number of vehicles, the registration number increased by 1,000 in 2013, there will be an increase of 500. So the increase in the next year will be 1,500. And the next year will be 2,200. So between that period and now, the actual number was in the range of 19,000 vehicles, which approached now 36,000 vehicles. That is a task that we have to address. And you are in the forefront.
Minister Bowen urged the traffic wardens to maintain a harmonious relationship with the motorists and pedestrians alike, and he encouraged them to pay particular attention to the customer service training, which forms part of their course. Acting Commissioner of Police, Mr. Edwin Martin, cited traffic management as a great challenge for law enforcement daily and expressed optimism that the traffic wardens will improve the efficiency of the traffic department.
Traffic management is a major challenge for law enforcement on a daily basis. And even when there is no law enforcement issue requiring the RGPF's attention, the challenges associated with traffic management remains omnipresent. This challenge is further exacerbated by the fact that the number of registered vehicles on island has increased by an average of 68% over the last 5 years and continues to grow. This makes traffic management not only challenging, but also a critical operational matter requiring law enforcement attention on a 24-hour basis, 7 days a week. It is also safe to say that the sheer increase in the volume of traffic, when combined with individual driver and pedestrian negligence, as well as non-compliance with our traffic regulation, are major drivers to the increase in accidents we are witnessing currently. The traffic warden system is considered to be a critical element among a number of other strategies to be implemented to effectively address the current and future challenges related to traffic management.
The Ministry of Health is developing a national emergency unit for Grenada. The intention is to enhance the ministry's ability to efficiently respond to emergencies in the quickest possible time.
We held 2 meetings with key stakeholders to develop a policy to govern that response team. One of our objectives of this initiative is to have ambulance placed in strategic places, our location, to respond to emergencies. Why we want to do that? Is it an effort to reduce our response time? As we all know, there are delays in our response time. We hear it on the media and so on. And to provide quality care in a timely manner.
That's Ms. Joanna Humphrey, Deputy Director of Hospital Services. She was speaking during the handover of an ambulance to the Crash Fire Rescue Department at the Maurice Bishop International Airport. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
It is here again, it is here again. The Made in Grenada Expo is here again. And I just hope the whole of Grenada ready, because I sung in a clarion call. The Made in Grenada Expo is here again. The Made in Grenada Expo is on February 7th, and the public is encouraged to come out and give full support and buy out all local products on show. Products manufactured right here in Grenada, 100% Grenadian, and it's happening right here at the National Stadium. Are taking in the Independence Parade and the Made in Grenada Expo one time. I am so excited. That's why I'm making a fireside. I bring my tent, my blanket and all kind of thing. And I'm camping right here until everything done on February 7th. The Made in Grenada Expo is here again.
Your new Independence Morning, celebrating 45 years. Give it up for Sour Serpent!
Sour Serpent Sean Niles is still savouring the taste of victory in the Independence Calypso competition, which was held at the Sater's bus terminus on Saturday. 14 Calypsonians competed for the title, which was captured last year by Rootsman Kelly, who did not take part in the competition this year. Top Cat placed second, followed by German superstar Simon third, Baraka fourth, and the Messenger fifth. Acting Minister for Culture and the Arts, the Honourable Kate Lewis, says this is a proud moment for Grenadians as the country celebrates 45 years as an independent nation.
As we look back on our 45 years, we can do so with pride and dignity, because as a nation, as a people, we have made tremendous strides despite the challenges that we have had to overcome.
Other major activities that are yet to come include the cultural extravaganza on Saturday, February 2nd, the ecumenical service on February 3rd, village beautification and oil dunk competition February 5th, National Colors Day on February 6th, and the National Parade at the National Stadium on February 7th. And that's the National Report. I'm Leslie Ann Johnson.
My name is Michaela Williams, winner of the Festival of the Arts Secondary School Solo Pan Competition. And these are my colleagues.
We are members of the Full Comancheros Steel Orchestra, your current panorama champions.
Having won 3 of the last full panorama competitions in Spice Mass.
We are inviting you to Spice Mass 2019, especially junior and senior panorama, at the National Stadium on Saturday, 10th August 2019.
Come and enjoy the experience, the excitement, and the skills of the players of the various steel orchestra. Suzuki Pan Wizards,
Republic Bank Angel Apps,
New Dimension,
Panacea,
Melody Warriors,
Rainbow City All-Stars, Grand Roy Pan Angels,
Digital Florida All-Stars,
and of course, Flow Comancheros.
After Panorama, you can join us on the road for Juve and Parade of the Bands on Monday the 12th and Tuesday the 13th of August.
Spice Mass 2019. Don't miss it.
It's coming, the new family of EC Polymer Notes.
What is different about these notes?
The feel.
Polymer notes are made from a thin plastic film which makes the notes feel smoother than the paper notes.
The orientation.
The notes have a portrait orientation. You will read the notes from top to bottom instead of left to right as you do with the paper notes.
Unique tactile feature.
The front of each note has raised bumps at the top left-hand corner. These bumps form shapes that are familiar to you.
Holographic foil strip.
This feature is on the $20, $50, and $100. When you tilt the notes, the images and colors in this section will change.
New image on the $50.
The back of the $50 bears the image of former governor of the ECCB, the late Honorable Sir K. Dwight Venner.
New signature.
All the notes bear the signature of the current governor, Timothy N.J. Antoine.
EC Polymer Notes. Cleaner, safer, stronger.
I really love it. 2018 was great. 2019, this will be epic. This is me, Scholar, 2018 Calypso Monarch of Grenada, and I'm inviting one and all to come down to Grenada for Spice Mass, the greatest, biggest festival in all of the world. I'm inviting you to the Mardi Gras, where I will be chasing after history. This year, the Mardi Gras, this will be the greatest Mardi Gras of all the Mardi Gras. All the bards will be coming.
I want to tell Mr. Killer, come over, the message to lava. Come over. Man, if you want to win the monarchy, do head reduction surgery. They talk going around the tongue. Your head too big for the crown. So listen to what I say. Forget police CCJ.
So what are you waiting for? Just book your ticket and come down. Last carnival was real bacchanal, and this year going to be the mother of all. The boom boom going to ring. Artist going to sing, pam pam. Big up for Simon, for his contribution.
Government pension. What are the facts? Are all public workers entitled to pension? Are public workers owed gratuity? Here are the facts. Fact 1. The Pension Disqualification Act of 1983 was validated on April 21, 1985 by the democratically elected government, led by former Prime Minister Herbert A. Blaise. This means that public workers employed after February 22, 1985 are not legally entitled to a pension from the government of Grenada. Fact 2. The judgment in the Hermelin Armstrong case does not create legal precedents for the reinstatement of pension to public workers employed after February 22, 1985. The judgment created a legal precedence only for those workers who joined the public service in a pensionable post between April 4, 1983 and February 22, 1985. There were 56 such workers. The government restored pension to those 56 workers in 2018 at a cost of $7.7 million. Fact 3.
all officers employed in a pensionable post who joined the service after February 22, 1985 are not legally entitled to a pension from government. They are only entitled to a pension from NIS once they meet the necessary requirements as per the NIS Act. Fact 4. The Cabinet's decision in 2016 to reform pension is rooted in moral and social justice principles, and it is not a legal obligation. Therefore, any agreement on pension is a win for public workers. Fact 5. The MOU signed between government, the unions, and staff associations in February and March 2018 stated that the pension regime which will be implemented must be affordable and sustainable. Fact 6. The proposed pension regime for public workers employed between February 22, 1985 and December 31, 2018, as stated in the MOU, is a non-contributory pension plan. Therefore, no deductions will be taken from workers' salaries to finance their pension from government. Pensioners also benefit from any future negotiated salary increases. Fact 7. It was agreed by all parties that a worker's annual pension would be a minimum of 70% of their final salary to be paid jointly by the NIS and the government of Grenada. Fact 8. Government is not obligated to offer an advanced pension payment, commonly called a gratuity. Government has proposed to make an advanced pension payment of 2% of full pension, an amount it can practically and reasonably afford given its current and projected revenue stream. It should be noted that an advanced pension payment is a non-interest-bearing loan that the government grants to the pensioner, which must then be repaid in equal monthly installments in the form of a reduced monthly pension over 12 and a half years. Fact 9. Under the proposed 2% advanced pension payment or gratuity, retirees will be entitled to a higher monthly pension than if a larger advanced payment was given. Fact 10. If the government accommodates any higher rate of gratuity, the implications would be severe for the country, as this will translate to higher taxes such as VAT, income tax and property tax, higher import duties, the possibility that hundreds of millions of dollars in grants would be lost, lower expenditure in critical areas such as healthcare, agriculture, roadworks and youth development, retrenchment of workers. These are the facts. Government is committed to an amicable resolution to the pension matter for the good of all Grenadians.
Before you end up drowning in the deep, what I'm trying to tell you, don't jump unless you're sure about it. Don't jump, don't act like you're mad. Don't jump, it might be too dangerous. Think about it first. Don't jump, once you leave the rock, don't jump, and not turning back. No, no, try to avoid disaster. Let selfishness and greed be your hindrance. This will surely block your way once given a chance.
Good morning to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. It is a beautiful Tuesday well, no, it's not Tuesday, today's Wednesday. I'm one day behind. It seems like that flu really trying the best to take me this morning. Yeah, that flu trying the best, man.
Oops, it's
I'm feeling like chick-free, man.
Wednesday morning.
Yeah. Good morning to you, wherever you are. It's a bit overcast. Had a little bit of rain last night. That was welcome by a lot of people. Although still was extremely hot on my end, but welcome by a lot of individuals.
That's
I
good
know the
for you.
farmers are liking that. Yeah, they've got the rain coming down. And we say a special good morning to those of you joining us via 97.5 City Sound FM.
89.5 CRFM.
92.9 Sister Isle FM.
And 94.9 We Noise Radio in Brooklyn.
Yes, indeed. And of course, you are listening to Hard Talk. We're also live on Facebook via the www.hardtalkgrenada.com. Yeah, hardtalkgrenada.com. That's why certain people can't use Hard Talk again. Right. Also on Facebook as Hard Talk Grenada Live and on YouTube as Hard Talk Grenada. So you can look on out for us online in case you're traveling. We know that the summer is coming up, so some of you may be traveling and so on. You want to keep in contact with what's going on at home. Remember to take note of our online contacts. So when you travel, be you going to the UK or the US or Canada or just to one of the neighboring countries, you can keep in contact with what's going on at home via Hard Talk. And we also say to those of you online, remember to like and share the video. Yeah? Like the video and then share the video. Hey. Yes, Miss John, good morning to you. Hey, Steve, morning, sir. All right, I'm seeing Betty and Louisa. I'm seeing all of you on this morning, saying a very special, glorious Grenadian good morning to you, Teslin and Vaughn. Hope that you all are having a wonderful morning this morning. All right, nice, beautiful. Devon, you have an announcement there?
Yeah, I'm just to sort of energize the public about the Father's Day. What do you call it? The King Show. Father's Day King Show. St. Andrews Southwest. Annual Father's Day King Show. Organized by the Women's Arm. Right? Takes place June 16th, 2019. The venue, Deluxe Cinema.
All right.
Yeah, Deluxe Cinema Grenville. Time 5 p.m. Price $20 per ticket. Go out there, right, and support the 6 handsome, young men. Fathers, they are young. Okay, so go out and show your support and so on. Make it an evening for the family. All right, see you there.
All right, and we also have some other activities. Remember, going down to come up. So we're looking at the all-day carnival fete. Yeah, the NNP has the all-day carnival fete. So if you're in Canada and you're booked to come down for the carnival season, you're in Toronto right now, or you're out there in New York. I heard it's rainy up there, man. Mr. Watts, in case you're coming down for the carnival season and so you and the lovely wife or WeiVybz, Zingo, all of you, I know the entire squad, because remember,
preparing to come,
JetBlue is going to be having 2 flights a day.
Yeah,
2 flights a day that you could use to come down. So you have no excuse now,
Yep.
2 flights a day that you could be able to use to come down. So it can't say you ain't getting flight. You're getting flight. I know Zingo and Mr. Watts and WeiVybz, all of them. Muscles, they don't have no worry about place to stay and things. They have to go on Airbnb.
No, they home, man. They home.
Yeah, so I know you all, when you all come in here, when you all go there, you're going away. When you're here, you come home. All right? So right now you ain't home. You're home and you're here.
Yeah, when you're here, you're home. Where you're on vacation or you're laboring where you at.
So
right?
Saturday, August 3rd, that's going to be taking place up at the Mount Telecon from 11 a.m. until. All right. Usually, it is the Saturday before Carnival, but it's not the Saturday before Carnival. No, I'm telling you all because some people will mix it up. It is going to be the Saturday before that. So it's going to be the Rainbow City weekend Saturday.
Weekend,
Emancipation weekend Saturday. So you can come on out for that one at the Mount Helicon. They're going to have popular DJs. They're going to have different artists that are going to be passing through from time to time doing performances. So, $10 per serving, just $10. Yeah? Some people saying, boy, $10 alone only charging? Yeah, $10 a serving. You're getting oil down, you're getting waters, you're getting barbecue, you're getting curry mutton, you're getting cuckoo, you're getting stew fish, you're getting all sorts of things, all right?
Imagine you have $50, you get 5 servings.
Yeah.
Difference,
$10, and plus, the bar is on break. You can't break that bar. You cannot break that bar. The bar is unbreakable. So that's going to be coming up on the 3rd of August. And folks, remember the outreach of the Inland Revenue Department. That continues. They're continuing their outreach. So remember, if you want to make your tax payments, they're coming to your area. So if you want to make your tax payments, you want to register for tax-paying services and other services of the Inland Revenue Department, you want to advise them of something or get the advisories from the ministry, you want to query or you have objections to your property tax, etc. You say, no, they're charging me too much, I can't pay all that. Or you may have been receiving your property tax and you haven't been paying and you want to talk to them about possibility of reducing the amount that you have to pay. Talk to them. Don't pay. Talk to them. Talk to the Inland Revenue Department. Yeah? It's human beings that day. Talk to them. And they would advise you on the best way to go and so. So all type of tax. All types of tax you could go and you could pay and so on. So the Inland Revenue Department. So as of tomorrow, they're going to be in St. David by the District Revenue Office between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. So those of you in St. David, right, that want to go and check them out, you could go to the District Revenue Office up there in St. David tomorrow between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. You have your tax, your land tax thing, you want to discuss it, or you want to pay some other sort of tax, you're running a business, you haven't got a chance to run down into St. George to make your payments, be it your VAT payments or whatever that is due, you haven't got a chance to run down and pay it, you can go and check them out at the District Revenue Office tomorrow and make those payments. And on Friday, they'll be in St. Andrew. So same services being offered, they'll be in St. Andrew at the Grenville car park. So all the businesses there in St. Andrew that you want to query, the Inland Revenue Department write you and you want to query it, they're going to be right there. You don't have to go and close your business and go down in town. They're going to be in the Grenville car park. So you could go and talk to them. You find they hit you hard on something there, or you find they didn't hit you enough, you say, wait, that little bit all you charge me, man, I want to contribute to my country. I want to pay more. You could go and check them out at the Grenville car park. That's on Friday between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Carriacou, they're coming your way to the District Revenue Office between the 13th and 14th. So the 13th and 14th, they're taking 2 days up there in Carriacou. That's coming up on the 13th and 14th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. All right, so that's the Inland Revenue Division, right? Also, this Saturday, Marquee is the place to be at the basketball court, man.
Breakfast, man.
And 100% local, eh? 100% locally produced. All right, so you could go there and get your bacon, you understand the other thing and them there? Yeah, I feel it might have some fry planting and all kind of thing. They go and check them out.
And then when you finish,
basketball court taking place this Saturday.
And when you finish there, you could just go by the Mount Camel waterfalls and enjoy the rest of the day.
Yeah, don't jump in the water right after 8 o'clock. So take a while first before you go in the water. All right, they're going to have cultural activities and so on. Other activities going to be taking place there, and music by popular DJs. So that's going to be this Saturday. So those of you on the East Coast, passing along the East Coast, passing in the Marquee area, you can drop in there and get your breakfast this Saturday. All right, this Friday at the Mount Helicon. Yeah, Mount Helicon busy. At the Mount Helicon, the NNP, they're having the after work lime. Yeah, the NNP lime. It's taking place this Friday from 4 p.m. at the Mount Helicon. Yeah, the NNP Secretariat grounds. So they're going to have, the normal thing now, chicken and chips, fried breadfruit, lamby waters, pigfoot sauce, fried roast bakes, fried fish, barbecue, all sorts of things. You're going to be getting that this Friday at the Mount Helicon, and an ice cold bar awaits you. Yeah, you could come and buy me a drink and them kind of thing, man. Yeah. And boy, so much activities, boy.
Lots of activities.
So much activities.
And you remember, I mean, the festive season started, eh? Spice Mass is on its way, so the lead up would always be activities.
But the NNP Utah one day, boy.
A big one coming up, Dread, and in Grenville, you know.
Yeah, Victoria Park, boy.
Boy, $50,000 week. Lord,
and that was special, you know.
You
gain one ticket for $40 or two tickets for $70.
Boy.
Yeah, so that's going to be taking place on 7 p.m. From 7 p.m. on Saturday, the 22nd of June. Clear your calendar.
Clear it. Big
Clear
time.
your calendar.
Support the youths of our nation.
Yeah, they're doing that in conjunction with Wagiti.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So you know it's a legit kind of thing.
And you're safe. Your
all
money
kind
sure.
of prizes. There are cash and prizes.
And prizes.
So $50,000 in cash and prizes. So there are cash and there are prizes.
Yeah.
So you might walk out, you never know, you might walk out with a TV.
Yeah, I'll $5,000.
You might walk out with a brand new Samsung.
Yeah.
You might walk out, you never know.
A laptop computer, you never know.
You never know what it is. You walk off with something.
Yeah, and I show you walking out with cash.
Yes, so tickets $40 for one, or the deal two for $70.
Wow.
So remember, you can check the members of the NNP Youth Arm on that one, or your constituency representatives, and they'll give you more information in relation to that one. So that bingo is coming up. Let me see what else we have in the What's Happening file there. All right, the St. Mark NNP Welfare Arm, they have Green Flash. Yeah, so that is coming up. Let me see the exact date there.
Green
Flash. Nah, boy, that one about a while still, boy. Yeah. That one is quite down in the 23rd of August. But St. Mark's, we begin them up.
Yeah,
man. $50 a ticket with barbecue. They had DJs for so on that boat, boy. It's a cruise,
They let you know all you see all they let you know. Can't say you don't know.
NNP not like certain party and they can't even tell you what date they have in the convention.
No.
We could give an NNP convention date. We wouldn't do it now, but we could give you a convention date in the later part of the year.
Oh, yes.
Right? So boarding time 7 p.m. Wear something green. Yeah, so you could get that at different members of the St. Mark's constituency branch. You can get the tickets from them.
Green Flash.
They're going to have it powered by the Magnum Force sound system.
I love that style. Green Flash.
Green Flash, man. Yeah, they're flashing the thing. All right. Yeah, so quite a few activities taking place there. Also, boy, I ain't lying, but to talk this way, boy. And you see, I have it over by me. I don't have it over by Devon. Devon tells me. Yeah. But St. Andrews Cricket League, yeah, see, they sent in some information here. They say the Big Six of the St. Andrew Cricket Council 2019 competition will start on Sunday, the 16th of June 2019 at the following grounds: Pearls Playing Field, Ford Playing Field, and Mount Horn Playing Field from 11:30 a.m. So come out and support the different teams.
Yeah.
So they also have the prizes. They asked me to announce the prizes in the competition, which will be the biggest payout in history. No, call us suddenly do LL the biggest payout in history.
They could have never do that when LL was there.
Anyway, let me leave LL.
Oh boy, Lord, let me
Division 1, 2, and 3. So the first prize, $5,000. Second prize, $2,000. Third prize, $1,000. Two teams will be advancing to the Big Six with the same payout, with over $35,000 in payouts this year. Yeah, I think that's what they were right there. $35,000 in payouts this year.
Wow.
So big money, cricket money in St. Andrew, boy.
What? I mean, he knows that money before last 2 years he not nothing, you know.
I'm going to join this St. Andrew's cricket.
I feel so.
I find they have money. I find they have money there. Also, folks, the Ministry of Finance. Remember, over the past few weeks, we've been giving you the notices from the Ministry of Finance where they were asking the vehicle dealers to come in and different people to register, especially against the anti-trafficking and money laundering and all this sort of things. So they've been asking different groups of people to come in and register. And authorities, they're cautioning motor vehicle dealers against non-compliance and bad practices. So the growing issue of non-compliance and bad practices were two of the main issues discussed when the Inland Revenue Division, Customs, and the Royal Grenada Police Force met with motor vehicle dealers recently. The dealers were reminded that these practices were having a negative effect on the country's resources, which would require the authorities to enforce the various legislations to prevent these practices from continuing. The violation of the General Dealer's License in accord with Section 22 to 28, Cap 5 of the Road Traffic Act, fraudulent insurance documents, non-compliance with respect to payment of the annual $10,000 motor vehicle dealer's license, and appropriate bond warehouse license are among some of the infringements carried out by motor vehicle dealers. The authorities indicated that the ill practices are being closely monitored and appealed to the dealers to give their fullest cooperation and avoid legal actions going forward. The dealers expressed their concerns about the difficulty of doing business with the government agencies and also made some requests in this regard. A follow-up meeting is planned to formalize strategies and procedures necessary for the improvement of the sector. So, motor vehicle dealers, the Royal Grenada Police Force meet with them together with the Inland Revenue Department, and so they meet with them and they talk with them, because you realize these days in some instances a guy just wake up this morning and he's a motor vehicle dealer. He just contact a man in Japan or in England.
He said no, 4-5 vehicles.
He's a motor vehicle dealer. All of a sudden he just he clear out a piece of land somewhere, he fence it, start to put vehicles inside there. He doesn't pay the motor vehicle dealer's license. He doesn't pay for the warehouse bonding and so on. And he try all kind of thing to get the vehicle out from the port without having to pay what he's supposed to pay for it. Nobody's against people making money, but do it the proper way.
Do the proper way, protocol. Follow the requirements is necessary, because that will avoid you down the road from getting into any legal troubles and challenges and so, right? And that's why it's so important that meeting took place, Sheldon. It was a timely meeting, and so where you meet face to face with most of the motor vehicle dealers and everything, so they know, they understand. Because it's got to be fair across the board, because you cannot have in one set complying and then you have another set not complying. So, they're on the ball.
Good morning to you, Ray. Just seeing you there. Good morning to you, Ray and Denise, Lorraine. Hannah, as usual, on with us this morning there, Hannah. Avron, I'm seeing you on, and Shirley, you're on with us as well. Saying a special good morning to all of you. And remember again to like and share the live. And share.
I'm sure I've shut down.
You've shut down?
Yeah, Mr. Technical Man.
Mr. Technical Man. Right now, the man shut down.
Shut down.
We ain't too sure what going on there. Yeah? But also, we have some other information here. As a lot of you would know, Prime Minister, the late Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Right Honorable Edward Siaga, he passed to the great beyond yesterday. Incidentally, on his birthday. Yeah, exactly at the age of 89. He passed on to the great beyond yesterday, a little around 2 p.m. our time. Yeah, at the age of 89, on his birthday.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of folks in Jamaica, they were preparing for birthday celebrations, and it ended up being,
death celebration. Death is out, in my view, is a celebration.
Well, they have a thing in Jamaica they call 9 nights, and I've been to a couple of them. And Wagitidwa bingo as big as some of them things. I'm being brutally truthful here. And anyone who is Jamaican that's listening right now, Sugars and the guys, you could call me. Sugars and the guys could tell you that, or anybody who spends significant amounts of time in Jamaica could tell you that. There are some 9 nights in Jamaica that are bigger than a bingo here in Grenada. I've been to a couple, so I know when I was in Jamaica, I've been to a few.
And talking about birthdays and
I wasn't finished on Prime Minister Siaga. Prime Minister of Grenada, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, he has sent out his condolences on the passing. As you know, Prime Minister Siaga, he spoke here. I tried to remember, I think it would have been 2003 or 2002, Naz? 2003, 2002, 2004, somewhere around there. Possibly the year of Ivan at the NNP convention. That, Papa Eddie. I think I could remember him coming here. He demitted leadership of the JLP in 2005. So it would have been somewhere around 2003, 2004, 2002, somewhere around there, that he spoke at the NNP convention. I always remember his address at the NNP convention. It is with great sadness that I learned of the passing of former Jamaican Prime Minister Edward Siaga. I must express my deepest condolences to his family and to the people of Jamaica who have lost one of the great contributions to the island's rich history. Prime Minister Mitchell said, when I entered the political arena back in 1984, Mr. Siaga was serving as Prime Minister of Jamaica at the time. As a new kid on the block then, I remember looking to leaders like him who had more experience on the political stage. I'm immensely grateful for the words of advice that he shared with younger politicians like myself. While there are many things he'll be remembered for, including being the longest serving parliamentarian in Jamaica.
74.
What's even more important is the contribution he would have made to the shaping of Jamaica's constitution when the country gained its independence from Britain. His passing, therefore, truly represents the end of an era, as he was the last surviving member of the team that framed the Jamaican Constitution. Mr. Siaga was a personal friend and a friend of Grenada and of the New National Party. I recall him being one of the regional leaders who favored the United States intervention in Grenada in 1983, which led to the return of democracy. Whichever side of the fence we sit on, we must appreciate that as our brother's keeper, we do what we believe is in the best interest. In politics, there will always be supporters and detractors, but it is only fitting that we recognize the invaluable contributions made by those who devote themselves to public life. We know that in life, we must be prepared for death, but it is still unnerving when we are brought face to face with our mortality. Today, Jamaica lost a son and the region lost a supporter of regional integration who has advocated for changes to improve the process. At this time, I know that I speak for many Grenadians when I say we stand firmly with our brothers and sisters in Jamaica in mourning the loss of their former leader, Edward Seaga. I've already personally communicated my condolences to Prime Minister Andrew Holness. End of release. That's by Prime Minister Dr. Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. He had he's one person that can speak from having a personal relationship with Mr. Seaga.
Yeah, for sure. Elder statesman in the Caribbean.
Yeah,
definitely.
One of the last remaining, though, if you look at it, most of the others from that era, that 1970s, 1960s, even 1950s era coming up,
60s
and early 80s, they've gone to the great beyond. Yeah, you know, John Compton. I think Kennedy Simmons is still around, I think.
It might be. But you know, Seaga...
Kennedy Simmons and James Mitchell. They might be the only two that are around from that as prime ministers back in those days there.
He entered, I think, somewhere around 1974. When I say that's like being a representative, he almost over 40 years, serving within the parliament. That's, wow. That's a lifetime. That's a generation there. And his contribution definitely to the Caribbean, not just Jamaica, right, has been, overwhelming. You know, and as one of the leaders who stand for democracy, who had their own challenges in times of, leadership within Jamaica, but he stood strong and ensured that Jamaica remained the force that it is up till this day.
But I think he was also a regionalist, and it comes not just through the politics, but through his work with the University of the West Indies. As you know, when he demitted office as leader of the GLP, he went over to the University of the West Indies. And even recently, he had acquired another position with the university. And as a regionalist, working towards framing and educating Caribbean minds. So throughout the region, ensuring that our youth are properly educated. So he played a significant role. And in Jamaica, there are many things that came through him, from Hard Trust to Petro Jam to there's so many things, housing projects, many industries and so that are benefiting Jamaicans now, that came under the leadership of the Right Honorable Edward Seaga. And again, a friend of the New National Party, a good friend of the New National Party, and a friend of Grenada. Yeah. So may his soul rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, and you were coming up a birthday for someone.
I know. I was just thinking. A number of persons, though, including another historian, Morris Bishop. Today would have been his 75th birthday. Right. Also to a number of persons who are celebrating today. Happy birthday, Archie. Yeah. Good morning to you, my friend. All right. Happy birthday.
What's going on with your laptop today, man?
Yeah, it just shut down. And
it's probably not plugged in.
Yeah, it is.
No, on the other end. Yeah, but we'll see what's going on with it. Technical man, handling man.
Yeah, you on about.
He put it on, but it ain't working. So.
Yeah, he was on and he just shut down.
Yeah, some of the equipment inside here, I feel current go and come back or something. Yeah. So the equipment giving a little problem. All right.
But that too will pass.
Yeah. So folks, hey, Devon, I saw the IMF sent out their they sent out their mission statement. As you know, the IMF was in Grenada recently.
Yeah, for a couple of
days. And they sent out their mission statement.
Statement report,
Yeah. So that came out yesterday.
Impressive.
Yeah. They've said a lot of positive things about Grenada. They've said GDP, the gross domestic product of Grenada, expanded by 4.25% in 2018. So in other words, the economy itself is expanding. The economy itself is growing, right? And that's driven by strong activity in construction and tourism.
Wow.
Yeah. So we know that is true. Yeah?
Because it's evident every day.
Because the sand boat, by the time it reach,
it did finish.
The cement boat, by the time it reach,
you almost offload in the water, and you almost offload in the water. You know?
Because right now as it is, the cement doesn't get a chance to reach to the hardware.
No, they buying it off the...
Yeah, they pay at the hardware, and the trucks go on the port and taking it. Yeah, by the time the trucks leave there, they just go in and drop it off on different job sites, because it's gotten to that stage now.
Could you imagine, Sheldon, a couple of years ago, not couple, but at least another, 8 years ago, every 2-3 months.
Stick that thought. Don't
Good morning and welcome.
We want to go back there, so don't move from that.
Good morning and welcome.
Hello.
Hello, is this Hard Talk?
Yes, you're
live.
It
is, and you're live.
Okay. You young men don't know me, but I just called for a second to tell you I had the privilege of introducing the late Edward Seager as a Grenadian delegate in Jamaica and the Eastern Caribbean Institute of Democracy.
Wow.
So I knew him personally. I met with him. I spoke with him. I introduced him. I'm an old Grenadian that most of you don't know. And my 2 children are half Jamaican. So I'm glad to hear the Prime Minister did send his regards. Gentlemen, have a blessed day.
Oh, you most welcome, and you have a wonderful day.
Yeah. He had a nice honor there.
Yeah, I mean, you could have heard it in the voice, you know. It was
proud.
Going, very proud.
Yeah, you were speaking about 8 years ago with construction in Grenada.
8 years ago, man.
So, or the lack of construction in
Grenada. Yeah, the lack thereof. Yeah. I mean, every 2-3 months.
Certain people was building private houses, but
2-3 months, and so you see the cement boat crawling, coming in, and so. But I mean, that has drastically changed. And I would have known, because being on the gravel and concrete board, you would have seen, I mean, we had to wait sometime 2-3 months for sand to come from Guyana. Now, almost every week or every 2 weeks, you see the sand boat come in. The cement boat, I mean, 2-3 times a month. I mean, what's going on, Sheldon? What is going on in Grenada?
Yeah, we're going to dive further into the IMF report.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Sheldon. Good morning, Devon. How are you?
Well, we're good.
Sheldon, I want to say thanks to the women that came out to the health fair Saturday. Brother Sheldon, the health fair was successful. You had about 60-something persons came out and do testing. All right? So I want to say thanks to all the women. But that's something that we have to do. You know, when something is successful and people came out, we have to say thanks to them. But never be ungrateful. Always say thanks to people who came out and support the health fair. It was a success. And Brother Sheldon, I want to say congratulations to St. Andrews Southeast for being victorious again in the Challenge Trophy. They did it again. I want to say congratulations to them. And come next year, we come out hard and sweaty. I think we will be taking a position. Either first, second, or one position. St. John will be taking one of the position.
Okay.
I wish you all good luck.
Yeah, I don't think we have said congratulations to St. Andrew Southeast, the Honorable Emlyn Pay and her team.
Yeah. Solid team.
For the second year in a row, the reigning Docks Challenge Trophy champions, and they have never lost a match ever since the start of the competition in 2018. They've never lost a match. Not a single match. Unbeaten.
That will change next year.
Yeah, unbeaten.
That will change next year.
They've never lost a match.
That's a challenge. Will change next year. We will stay in St. Andrews though.
Yeah, St. David copying the second place there. And St. Mark in the third position in Docks Challenge Trophy competition. And I passed by the women's fair, even though it's women's fair, so I can't pass through. I had to pass and check up on the ladies. And there were quite a number of ladies at the hour that I passed, and I was going to mid-afternoon. And there were quite a number of ladies there getting their breast exam, their pap smear, their blood test, their blood pressure, and so on. I was able to check my blood sugar, and my blood pressure. No, I'm not a lady, but if the thing day and I did, and I mean, I could have checked. I check. Yeah, and don't worry, watch, you know the time about the blood pressure? The time of the blood pressure, real normal, are good to go. They check the blood sugar and so for me.
That's good.
They say, Sheldon, you're good to go.
That's good.
Perfect. That is how it's supposed to be. You understand? So I was good to go. Yeah. I think we have a caller online. I'm going to go back to the IMF in a while.
Good morning and welcome. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Brad.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, Bull here.
Bull!
Yes.
I know you're feeling a bit happy.
Again. But the topic yesterday was nice. and I heard Devon start a topic there. I want to hear it today.
Yes.
About the money wise and all them type of thing.
Trust me, you go hear it.
Well, because that's why I call you now. Just remind you. Yeah.
All right, boss.
Because I find it's time. So are you all right?
Yeah, we good. Good.
I good here. I'm listening.
Now that I hear you go be a little better, I feeling more than all right.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, boss.
So are you take care?
You
Yes,
sir.
too.
Right.
All right.
We're gonna come to that one in a while.
Yeah,
because,
it's a build up to that
it's gonna be a nice segue out from the IMF report into that, because the IMF report does speak to pensions.
Okay.
And the IMF report, when we're looking at it, we were speaking earlier, it spoke to construction, strong activity in construction, and they're speaking now because remember, the Silver Sands is winding down that construction, but they have 2 more facilities that they're going to start. Yeah, so they're going to start 2 more facilities. Plus, you have the Kimpton by Kawana that is still far ways off. They're doing the construction there. For those of you outside of Grenada that may not have been home for a while, or you're wondering, what are you talking about Kimpton? Where Flamboyant was is now being rebuilt. So what used to be the Flamboyant is now going to be the Kawana Bay by Kimpton Hotels. So that is under construction. Now, all the old bar and thing is they level that. So they're constructing a new facility there. Cinnamon Hill. Last year they added on some suites. They're going to do some more again because they realized by the time they added on, that was gone. No time flat. So you see the marriage between tourism and construction. Right, by the time they added on that, gone one time. So they say, hey, so they're going to add on some more. True Blue Bay Resorts, they added on some pieces there, and I think they have plans to further expand. And while you have that taking place, you have the Pitti Calavini project. Is Pitti Calavini project that's taking place.
Also, the hotel that was just taken over by this brand name, who's on at the airport. I'm forgetting.
What was Rex Grenadian? There's now Starfish.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're just operating under Starfish right now until they build a new facility and they change over to the new name. But they're trading as Starfish. That's where Rex Grenadian is, as Devon has just said, bought over. So that is gonna right now. It's better you start a bank up on cement, because you ain't go get a cement easy. You ain't go get a cement easy. Believe me, it's gonna become more difficult.
And then we're not talking about the St. David's projects.
Yeah, we ain't touched there too.
To come and stream, right?
We ain't even touched there too.
Yeah.
Two facilities in St. In fact, the land's already transferred. The sod turning going to be taking place shortly, for actual construction to start on that facility in St. David. So at the night time, we expect to see people flagging right on the East Coast trying to go home again.
Transportation will be
you in your area.
Yeah. And then you have right in St. Andrews, you have the distillery Carriacou.
Yeah.
Going full speed ahead with the construction of the distillery.
Yeah. So the IMF report continues to say unemployment has been falling but remains high at 21.7. We won't be satisfied until you get it much lower to non-existent. There's no country with no unemployment. That doesn't exist. But to get it as low as possible. And as of the middle of last year, it was 21.7. Inflation has remained low. After trending down for several years, bank credit growth has turned positive with continued improvement. So bank credit, that was low. Now it started to improve. So has turned positive with continued improvements in asset quality, while lending by credit unions has continued to expand rapidly.
Yeah.
Let's take that call.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, guys. How are you doing today?
Fine, man.
Fine, my friend.
You know, what I just want to say this morning is I just want to send my condolences to the Jamaican people on the passing of their beloved former Prime Minister, Edward Tiaga. And how I may be too young to remember when he was in power, but I've seen him in a video. I don't know, Sheldon, you remember that with Bob Marley, you remember? With himself, I think was Manly.
Yeah, that's the One Love Peace concert.
Yeah, he got them to shake hands on stage, and that was so wonderful. So God be
You're
the
asking
glory.
me if I remember that?
May his soul rest in peace.
Yeah, that's Devon, if you remember that. That's Devon. That's Devon age, you know, that's not my age.
Yeah, Devon will remember. All right, later.
All right, boss.
Yeah.
Devon age.
You was a baby them time. Man.
Yeah, man. That's the first in my life them time when that One Love Peace concert take place.
One Love. That was a concert that really transformed, brought back unity to Jamaica.
Yeah. So one of the things we see the saying here. So in the first part, they've been speaking about, and they put it in bold letters, the IMF put it in bold letters. The Grenadian economy continues to grow robustly. The most
read that again, emphasizing it.
The Grenadian economy continues to grow robustly. I think we have another call online.
Good morning and welcome.
Morning.
Good morning, my friend.
Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
Your live caller, go right ahead.
Mr. Scott.
Yes, sir.
Tamsis is still waiting on your police, you know. Tamsis is in Carriacou, you know, in Grenada, you know.
My brother, you mentioned that last week.
Hello?
You mentioned that last week.
Well,
I acknowledge. And I ain't cut you because I'm afraid of what you're saying. You need to have some respect. You ain't calling my program and dictate what I talk about when I talk about it.
That's disrespectful.
Number one, as soon as you said that, I messaged my friends in Carriacou and I got the information on the situation at TAMCC in Carriacou, and it is a problem. There is a problem with Carriacou, but you can't expect a call last week and it fixed this week. That is not instant coffee. When you rush and you do things like that, you do not do them properly.
They don't last.
Probably the reason that there are cracks, because there are cracks on the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, the building is cracked. Probably the reason is that the building needs to be relocated. Probably that's not the best area to have it. You know, certain places you build in Grenada or in Carriacou anyway. And in the dry season, the land starts to crack up and it cracked the building too because you didn't go down deep enough with your foundation and settle it properly. That could possibly be the case. I don't know. I'm not an engineer.
Could have been
But
a
I'm
very
saying-
old building too, where it's housed.
And I'm
You never
saying
know.
I wouldn't spend long on this. I'm saying that there is a problem. It is acknowledged and it will be dealt with. But you can't expect last week and expect it to be done this week. Yeah? Nice. Good. So back to the IMF report. It says the Grenadian economy continues to grow robustly. All right? And it spoke about the fall in unemployment and that sort of thing. And it was speaking about the credit unions. That the credit union is lending money. So it means that money is circulating. Because you see, every now and again, you see the car boat come, people buying car. That's why they'll be speaking to motor vehicle dealers, because a lot of money is going into that area right now. A lot of foreign direct money, foreign exchange is going into purchasing vehicles and parts coming into Grenada. Is not a thing that we make here. These are not things that we make here.
Must be imported.
And to preserve our environment, I don't think it's things that we should make here. But this is a lot of money that we spend outside of Grenada to buy cars and bring in vehicles and this sort of things into Grenada. So the credit unions, they have been funding a lot of those things. Some small businesses, home improvements, education, that sort of thing. Outside of the commercial banks, the credit unions have been doing a lot of business, because the average person, in some of the instances when you go to the commercial banks, you feel emasculated by the time they finish with you. You feel emasculated.
Like they rip you open and just...
Yeah.
But
It's like they economically got you. And then after they do all of that, they still come back and they tell you they can't get a loan.
Yeah.
But the credit unions are more amicable, more affable. They're more easy to deal with when it comes to getting loans to the Grenadian people.
More understanding.
Yeah. That said, though, we must point out that one commercial bank has now stated that they have over $1 billion in assets and so on. That's the cooperative bank.
Cooperative bank. Local
Bank. Local bank ain't no penny bank again. Right now it's a $1 billion bank.
$1 billion bank right now.
Yeah, so we can't call a cooperative bank the penny bank again. Right now it's the $1 billion bank.
Yeah, congratulations to them. They have been servicing Grenada for years, generations.
Yeah.
You know?
So the Cooperative Bank of Grenada Limited, they've mentioned, they actually hold a press conference and tell me, hey, we crossed $1 billion. Wow. Who's manning?
And that's homegrown, eh?
Yeah.
Homegrown.
Yeah, the PRA still had accounts inside there the other day.
But yeah, well, I mean, but I must go and investigate, yeah?
No, seriously, I saw some things from them a couple of years ago, and PRA, militia, and so on, they still had accounts that were sitting there. I think the possibilities those monies could have been sent to the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank.
So you all
need to. No, you could get it back, man. You all need to investigate that.
Oh yeah. Well,
that's just one of the institutions that it was held at. But you know who know about that. So. Anyhow.
Let me leave that alone.
So, continued improvements in asset quality, right? So it's not that lending is tenuous and you're not sure you're going to get your money back. When they're lending, they're pretty sure that they could recuperate the vast majority of money that they're lending. Remember, lending is I put $10 in the bank doesn't leave my $10 there. Devon come and he want that $20, so they take my 10, they take a 5 from somebody, they take a 5 from somebody else. And they lend the person, they say we're going to charge you interest on it. When they get back that $20 or whatever, for 10, 5, right? They get back the $20 and they get interest on top of it, so they might get as much as $30, $35, $40 on the $20 that they lend. All right? So that's how that works. Same thing with other organizations. They lend out your money, right? So that's why you have to pay it back, and you have to pay back with interest and that sort of thing. That's what the banks operate.
The bank's money is yours, you know. I mean, persons who deposit and have savings, and so that belongs to you. They are just the vault.
And sometimes we upset to the bank when they don't lend us, but in truth and in fact, even with what was said a short while ago by myself, you have to remember that the banks have to safeguard the money that they're lending.
Yeah.
So they will lend you up to a certain amount unsecured, based on your occupation, based on one or two bits of things you may have. But after a certain figure, they must secure. They need land. They need something that doesn't depreciate in a hurry. They need something to secure that money. And the IMF is saying that more and more of the credit unions and banks, they're having an improvement in the quality of those assets that people are using as security, or the assets that the bank and so are obtaining themselves. Right.
Yeah. And most likely would be lands and property and that sort of thing.
They're also saying that they're seeing robust foreign direct investment flows, including from the Citizenship by Investment Program. The IMF has quoted that the Citizenship by Investment Program is doing well, along with other foreign direct investment into Grenada, and that monies from that are helping to finance the external deficit while supporting economic growth. So a lot of the people that are coming in and setting up businesses, like the same Carriacou, and just as a side here, I'm seeing some people attacking Carriacou and talking about back to the colonial days. Mm-hmm. You're asking for an agricultural project for Grenada. You're saying back to agriculture. A company comes in, gets a set of land under agriculture, and they are doing an agriculture-based project. They have over 200 people working for them, and you're still upset?
Yeah, you're mad.
I mean, some people, you just try to understand.
Talking about slavery and all sort of foolishness. So, I mean,
it's
agriculture
just absolute nonsense. Ms. Duncan, yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Yeah, it's just absolute nonsense. So, anyway, the IMF, under another section, they're saying adherence to the fiscal responsibility framework has enabled further debt reduction. So, in other words, because Grenada has been sticking to the framework that it put in place to reduce the debt. In other words, I can't be owing Devon $50. And then when I owe Devon $50, I'm telling Devon I can't pay me $50, I go and I buy a watch for $3,000.
Yeah, can't happen.
I can't owe Devon $200, and then after I tell him I owe him $200, he see me in the VIP of a party where I pay $500 to go inside there, me, and $500 for my lady to go as well. So me and Antonio Lyman.
And 2 bottles of Moet in your hand.
Yeah, you can't operate that way. And the same thing with Grenada. You cannot operate in that way. You can't be owing debtors. People who you've bought bonds, who've bought your bonds and that sort of thing, that you have to repay in a period of time. But while you're telling them, we can't pay you now, you go on a wild spending spree.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
Fiscal responsibility
Your partner have a 20
Yeah.
for your boy lineman in KFC every day. But can't get that 20 and sit down in KFC, you know. But
Eating,
can't
yeah.
get that 20, you know.
Yeah.
Sit down in KFC.
And eating, real thing. And you used to have to give your piece, eh?
Yeah. Well, you ain't want that anyhow, so. Right? So
Fiscal responsibility legislation.
Yep.
Very important.
So it says the key targets under the fiscal responsibility law are estimated to have been met. So it met the key targets under the law.
Discipline.
Right? The fiscal surplus increased further in 2018, reflecting a combination of strong revenues and the fiscal responsibility mandated expenditure restraint. In other words, you can't go on a wild spending spree. Right? The public wage bill has been contained by the attrition policy, although several strategic exemptions and relaxations have recently been introduced to this policy. Remember, government said for X amount of people that are leaving the service, you're not going to, if it's 10 leave, you're not going to rehire 10, you might rehire 7. Right? So you're doing that. But the IMF is saying here that there have been exemptions because you make exemptions when it comes to teachers, nurses, police. Yeah, those
Very
three
important,
areas.
yeah.
Teachers, nurses, and police. So government has continued hiring in those areas, hiring nurses, hiring teachers, hiring police. These are important areas that government would have to spend money on, hire people.
Essential services, as you say.
But even with that, they have not broken the fiscal responsibility legislation, right? And low execution of grant funding and institutional bottlenecks in project execution combined to keep capital outlays subdued at 2.3% of GDP. When they say low execution of grant financing, many countries offer grants to you. Grants is you got to pay back. So they tell you, okay, we're going to give you 20 million, we won't give you 10 million, we won't give you that. And in your budget, you may have that they said they're going to give you it in January of 2018. So in your budget, you put for the period January to March 2018 that you're going to receive that $10 million. That country itself may have a natural disaster, they may have other things that happen, and they do not give you that $10 million at the time they said they would give you. So when you look at your grant financing chart for the year, it would show that you fell under your projected grant funding for the period January to March because they promised you a 10 million, you didn't get it in that time frame. But if you check later down, you'd see that in June, that 10 million may be coming that they promised you in January. They sent it in. So you may be seeing a negative at one point, but the money does come in. Sometimes it just comes in not at the time that you are promised. You have to put it down at the time that they promise. You can't say that, okay, we putting it down for September of 2018 when the country is saying you won't get it in January of 2018. So you have to put it down for when they say, right? So when it says the grant funding, because I know the opposition tends to use this and talk about grant funding and say, well, the government saying they get X amount in grant, but they're underperforming in grants, they're not getting the grants. And they try to trick you by not pointing out that, look, the money came in, but it didn't come in at the time that the donor agency or country said it will come in.
Just a delay.
Yeah. So the IMF is clear on this, yeah. But you hear some opposition people that pounce on something like that and say, wait, you see grant funding? They don't trust the NNP. They don't trust the government.
So they ain't giving them no money.
Yeah. But if you look back at last year, you realize, wait, the grant funding that you get, either you get all or you sometimes even get more than you was promised. Yeah? But that it did not come in at the specific time that in your budget document and in the schematics of what you have said, that it didn't come in at the exact time. And that has nothing to do with you, the country. You're getting grant financing from someone else. Also, in some instances, you have to be careful. That is why the government has continually said that we have to be careful how we move forward with expenditure in different areas.
Yeah.
Because if you overdo it, what would happen is that you could lose grant financing. You're gaining some of these grants because of your fiscal performance. You're gaining it because you restricted spending in some areas. You're spending on some important areas.
You're disciplined.
Yes, that's the exact word. You're disciplined. And because of that, you're getting grant financing. But if the impression is created that you're no longer being disciplined, you could lose your grant financing.
Yep. Squander
And
million,
sometimes you're speaking as much as $100 million,
yeah,
$200 million.
more. Yeah.
Yeah? So it's saying here that Grenada has adhered to the financial fiscal responsibility. Yeah? It says central government debt. It fell from 70% to 63.5% of GDP.
Wow.
So the government debt fell. How much government? It fell.
Whole 7%.
All right? Yeah.
Wow.
Da.
I mean, with all this thing going on and you still having the debt.
But it says arrests to certain bilateral creditors remain to be regularized. Remember there were one or two people that government was still having discussions with to regularize if they would accept haircuts and that sort of thing. And
Work in progress.
So that continues. This measure of debt excludes non-guaranteed debts of public enterprise around 3.4% of GDP and the debt to Petrocarib. The improved debt situation has helped lower interest rates and boost access to concessional financing. So because of this performance, Grenada can receive loans from different agencies and so at a better interest rate.
Exactly.
So if you're not doing, if your economy is not operating properly, you can find yourself having to pay, let's say, we're just using a figure here. Let's say you're paying at an interest rate 8 or 9%.
Yeah. Or even 5%.
Yeah. But because you have been performing properly, your interest rate goes down to 2%.
Or 1%.
0.1.
And you make your first payment in the next 15 or 20 years.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's, I mean, we on a good track. We on a very, very good wicket. As you say it in local term, very good wicket. And we just have to stay and bat.
They've also said that robust citizenship by investment flows have helped channel sizable resources to the contingency fund that could be used for mitigating the effects of natural disasters. Yeah. So monies on the citizenship by investment program, remember some of it is going into a specific fund that in case of a natural disaster would be a buffer for Grenada. Grenada would be able to dip into that and say, immediately we could start fixing this, we could start fixing that in case of a natural disaster or even a major man-made disaster. Yeah, because nuclear bomb hunting ain't natural, it's man-made. All right? Economic prospects are promising, but risks are tilted to the downside. And you need to listen to this one carefully. It says growth is set to remain solid in 2019, but is projected to ease somewhat over the medium term, consistent with a waning of foreign direct investment-driven construction. In other words, when some of the projects that are being done now wind up, and before the others start, it's going to slow down the growth slightly. Because you might have a construction man at home for a few weeks because the project he was on is completed, and the next big one to come hasn't yet started. So there will be a period that the growth is slowed. It ain't going to go negative, but it will be slowed for a while. The fiscal, I'm seeing some of the line ringing, but we're going to complete this and then come back to it. Because if we could continue cutting, we wouldn't complete.
Please, give us a couple of minutes.
So we're going to take the phone calls in a while. So the fiscal position is projected to loosen in line with the FRL, that's the financial...
Fiscal.
Fiscal legislation provisions that take effect after public debt falls below 55% of GDP. So it's expected that public debt will fall even further. And will fall below 55% of the gross domestic product of Grenada.
Wow, finally.
And should provide some support to the economy.
We're getting there.
We're getting there. External risks are mainly on the downside. In other words, things that have nothing to do with Grenada that could affect the Grenadian economy. So we have to keep an eye on certain things that are taking place around us and further afield. So you have the ones that could affect us positively, and you have the ones that could affect us negatively. So external risks are centered on the prospects for U.S. growth and global financial conditions. So it's expected that the U.S. economy will be growing. I know what Trump doing, but the U.S. economy would be growing, and the global financial condition that can help the Grenadian economy. If the U.S. economy goes up, all the other economies that are tied into it somehow go up as well. Yeah, because you have remittances coming down, you have different assistance that's given to the country. So once the U.S. economy is buoyant, it helps other countries as well. The guys in the U.S. and who might be working for more money decide I'm going to build 2 households. I ain't building 1, I'm building 2. I want my children to live with me, they will live in that one. So they build 2, right? Domestic risks are two-way. On the one hand, the use of the fiscal space for productive investment could improve growth. In other words, you have money in the fiscal space there. Do you take it and you use it for productive growth, or do you put it and place it, as you say, dead money?
Yeah, capital projects.
Yeah. As in, you just decide you're going to pay salaries with it.
Or fix road. I mean, although it's an investment in roads, but it's basically dead money.
On the other hand, boosting public spending without reforms aimed at improving efficiency and productivity could undermine long-term growth. So if you increase public spending, but you don't put things in place to make sure that we're spending on this program, but we have to make sure we cut out all the wastage. Yeah, we want to cut out all the wastage under this program. We want to make sure that the program is run effectively so that you get the best bang for your buck. You get the best spending on your dollar. So if that is done, it says it's going to help Grenada. If that is not done, but you increase public spending, what you're going to do, you're going to end up back in the situation it was in again.
And we ain't going back there.
So other risks include the loss of corresponding banking relationships. Going to come back to that. In fact, let's deal with it one time. Corresponding banking relationships. Recently, you've had in the Parliament of Grenada certain legislations that have had to be passed, and you heard parliamentarians nearly down to a man saying that, listen, we don't agree with this. We doing it. We passing it. But we okay in it. But we okay in it only because this can cause Grenada to lose corresponding banking relationships, and if we lose that,
problems.
It's going to affect our economy. Yeah, it could cause the economy to collapse if you lose your corresponding banking relationships.
Because
right?
These are the marks that the international community set and they expect us to follow.
Yeah, and some of it is to protect against things,
money laundering,
terrorism, and so on, right? But some of it are so draconian.
Especially for the small islands.
Yeah, it's difficult on countries like Grenada. But you have no choice. It's like you're a small fish in a big pond, and there's some shark and whale out there. So they say you had to pass it, you had to pass it, or you run the risk of getting blacklisted. And Grenada is not on any blacklist.
We're not going there.
Because we're passing the legislation as required, whether it's EU, whether it's through North America, wherever, we're passing the legislation. So you don't want to lose your corresponding banking relationships, so you continue to have that legislative agenda as required. Damaging natural disasters, we hope and pray that we don't see anything like that, because one hurricane and we are way back down the peg. We get knocked down some pegs, or even an earthquake, or a volcanic eruption, tsunami, whatever it is, could seriously impact the Grenadian economy. Pension settlements. A lot of people didn't expect to hear that one there.
Especially the IMF mentioning it too.
Yeah, pension settlements. Imagine the IMF has said there's a risk.
It is.
So you have to do it. No one is saying you don't have to do it. You have to do it. But how you do it is important. So pension settlements or other spending that could breach the fiscal responsibility legislation. Let me say that again. What the IMF is saying, pension settlements or other spending that could breach the fiscal responsibility legislation. So you have to be careful. You must address the pension issue. Government has said that they're addressing the pension issue. In fact, what Bull called about is that the Prime Minister did announce that outside of the established workers under the government system, so the ones who actually qualify according to law, because they've been appointed by the Public Service Commission, Commissioner of Police, Judicial and Legal Services, Commissioner of Prisons. Outside of those persons who will be receiving their 70% pensions as soon as the calculations are complete, these individuals will start receiving, once they qualify, once they've spent their 26 and 3/4, these persons will start to receive their 70% pensions. And notice, it's not just that you was in the service and you was appointed. You must have spent 26, well, basically nearly 27 years. 26 and 3/4, nearly 27 years. You must have spent that and attain the age of 60 to receive your pension. So once you've done that, but you're not getting it at the 70%, you will start getting it at the 70% once the calculations are complete. The Prime Minister has made that statement before, and he made that statement again on Sunday. But then there was the announcement that there's another category of workers. There are those, Bull might be included in it too, many other people are included in it, who spent 30 years, some 40, but they were never, for that period of time, appointed under any of the pensionable bodies.
Like Bull and them,
Yeah.
I know Bull working in the service for more than 40 years.
Yeah. And the thing is, sometimes he get appointed, you know. But the time he was appointed, he didn't make the amount of time to be able to qualify for the pension. So the Prime Minister has said, we're going to start calculations for these people too. We're going to settle on a figure. It may not be the 70%. It might be less, but it's going to be better than whatever they're getting now, because what they're getting now is just from the NIS. So they're going to settle now on a better something for these people. So a lot of the people out there, you may not have picked that one up. But what the Prime Minister is speaking about now is that those of you who did not yet, and you can't receive the pension as everybody else because you wasn't appointed. You don't have no appointment letter, as in the appointment letters are speaking about from the Judicial and Legal Services Committee or Commissioner of Police or Commissioner of Prison or Public Service Commission. You don't have a letter from any of them. And you worked within the government service for an extended period of time, or you have a letter from one of them, but you did not make the 27 and 3/4 and now you're retired, don't worry. Government going to work on you too. You're going to get a pension. And as the Prime Minister said, especially with the 70%, the unions have decided to take the issue to court. So if the court decide, look, the government paying the right thing, they just continue paying. If the courts decide, well, government had to pay more,
or they paying
government,
too much.
yeah, government top up. Even if they decide to paying too much, I ain't see
Doc
government going under.
Doc made that clear. If you're paying too much, then so be it. We continue.
Continue paying too much. There's no problem. But the IMF is saying at the same time to protect all the nice things they've been saying there, to protect that you have to be careful when it comes to that pension issue. They made sure to write it into their report that Grenada has to be careful on that pension issue.
Very careful.
Yeah?
Because that could capsize the entire financial stability of our country.
And there's another one that has to be looked at, and I don't think a lot of people are looking at that one, and it's regional risk due to spillovers from Venezuela.
Yeah.
We're seeing Trinidad saying basically that they would have to spend over $100 million a year in assistance right now to the Venezuelans that are already there. They've asked all Venezuelans in the country, whether you've been there long or you just reached, to come and register into a national system. And they have to be providing different services to the Venezuelan people that are there. And that does affect the economy. It does affect the economy. You have to provide health care. You have to provide other basic services to these individuals. And while we don't have that influx here in Grenada, regionally, some aspects of the spillovers from Venezuela, according to which way it goes,
will affect us.
Will affect the Grenadian economy and can affect the Grenadian economy. All right, so we have to be on the lookout and monitoring the situation there and how it affects our economy as well. Yeah? So, that's just some of what the IMF has been saying, Devon. That's just some of what the IMF has been saying. They're speaking about fiscal policy and other policies and so on. So, folks, what I'm saying here is not Sheldon Scott saying it. It's the IMF, and you can go to the IMF website and you can check and you can get information on this for yourself. You can read for yourself. Yeah, in fact, I'm going to post a link with it into the live online. So those of you that want to go and read it can read it for yourself. Yeah? Devon, I think we should open the phone lines.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Let's
open back the phone lines
a couple of calls and see.
Good
Good morning and welcome.
IMF report too.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to add a concern. In the Sutters Fire Department police, there is no fire truck there. I think that they should have a truck there in case there is fire in the St. Patrick's area.
Okay.
It's been a long time now, and when there is a fire in the St. Patrick's area, the truck from Guava, I think, have to leave to come up there. I think that each parishes, each station each parish should have a truck. Guava should have a truck. Victoria should have a truck. Sauterne should have a truck. Grenville. I think each parish should have a truck. It is modern time now, and there is no need for there to be no truck in each station. There was a fire in Mades just close to the fire station the other day, and look what happened. I saw they give out some bikes to the police to man over the traffic, I think this is good. But they should also look into providing some fire truck. This is also necessary, you know, to save life. You know what I mean? And the other day, hello?
Yeah, we're there. We're listening to you.
May the 13th, Sheldon had played a clip or a media conference or press briefing with one of the workers in the Ministry of Energy. I think it's Mr. John August.
Mm-hmm.
You had played that interview on the radio. That day there was a press briefing or something, so? Mm-hmm. And you had played him at the end. I was searching for that clip, but I couldn't find it on that program on HARDTALK on May the 13th. There was 14, there was 15. So I don't know if it could be available.
It is there. It's online. All our programs are online. They're not removed. Everything is there.
But I saw May 14th, 15th, and I was searching for the same program they had talk on 13th. I couldn't find it on stream.
Mm-hmm. It's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there. You continue looking for it. It's there.
Because I wanted to. I didn't have time to listen to the clip you had played with Mr. John August. Mm-hmm. That's a mini energy. Yeah. I wanted to listen it over.
It's there. If you have the date wrong, I'll let you know. But it's there. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, it's important for folks to listen to that too, because he was very clear on the issue of oil and gas. Huh?
Exactly.
He was very clear on the issue, especially of oil and gas.
Yeah, and what Grenada needs to go through.
Now, the caller spoke about the fire trucks, and you realize I just stayed quiet and let the caller talk, because the thing is that the government of Grenada has ordered fire trucks. But you see, unlike other vehicles, for instance, if you want to buy some cars for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, you just order some cars. Yeah, but with fire trucks, they actually have to build it to the specifications of your terrain and your country. Now, we know certain things with Grenada. One, in some areas, we have very narrow streets. Particularly, for instance, in some areas around the town of St. George, well, all parts of Grenada, we have some very narrow streets. Some of them are actually one way. That's one aspect of it. Secondly, according to where, it could be a case that you need a 4x4 vehicle with the capability of going up hills and that sort of thing. So you have to build. You can't just buy. You don't just call a company in Turkey and say, I want 4 fire trucks. You have to buy. And sometimes the build out for those fire trucks take as long as 2 years. Grenada has been receiving, during the period 2013 to now, we've gotten several. We got for the airport. We've gotten at, just sent up one to Carriacou, I believe 1 or 2 to Carriacou. They're at Central Police Station and so on. So you're getting more and more and more, right? What we have to do, though, is that we as Grenadians have to learn to be more, how could I put it?
Responsible.
Yeah. Because we're down 1 fire truck, right? Now, we could have had an additional fire truck. But if you go down to SSU, you see that fire truck park up, they dent up and mash up. You know why?
Let them know.
Because some idiot called the fire station in Grenville and told them that there was a major fire in the Hope area a couple years ago. You know what happened? The fire truck now speeding coming down the road, heading to go and meet this supposed fire, and it turned over. And you know what? There was no fire. There was no fire. But some dummy decided that the best thing to do was to cost you, the Grenadian taxpayer, over $1 million. Yeah, because the fire trucks ain't cheap, eh?
Yeah.
They decided to cost you, the Grenadian, with 1 stupid phone call. And I'm so sorry that the police never hold that person, because all now they should have still been in Richmond Hill Prison. All now they should have still be there.
They should have just started the sentence.
It's just started now. Well, yeah, it's just started.
Just started.
Yeah. No, Louisa, that wasn't a false alarm. That was a prank call. And they caused injury to the fire personnel that was on that truck. One of the guys damaged his back. Up to now, I don't know if he's back in service yet. He damaged his back. They caused injury to the firemen. All because some dummy decided to pick up the phone and cost you, the Grenadian taxpayer, over $1 million. But listen, not only that, you know. they've endangered each and every Grenadian because they've reduced the firefighting capability by 1 truck.
And that was one of the, a very good truck.
Yeah, that was the one based in Grenville. That was the original one that was based in Grenville there. And then they had the one from Grenville, I think, was up in Sautez. Yeah. So there were enough trucks to have one in each of the parishes and so until that dummy decided that they would call and do that. Yeah? I know. If we ever find out who that person is, every Grenadian person and get them a slap.
Yeah, rob them.
I don't believe in violence, but every Grenadian person and get them a slap.
Why you get it's a stupid.
Right? So that's just to let you all know what's happening. I know that government does have some on order. Every now and again you see they announce some have arrived, and so same as the bikes.
And the ambulance.
Government wasn't talking about the bikes and letting you know that the bikes and so coming, but the bikes were ordered and the bikes are here.
Yeah.
They didn't let you know about, as you said, they did
ambulance.
let you know about the ambulances because some were bought directly through government, some in partnership with Grenlec and so on. But now you see we have a good fleet of
nice
ambulances.
Fleet of ambulances.
Yeah, when you call 434, you're getting an ambulance. Yeah, so I know because I had the experience recently, you're getting an ambulance. So it is a situation that is being considered and you have that going on. But you see, if you go back to what the IMF is saying now, yeah, they're saying that the fiscal responsibility has been successful in guiding fiscal policy to date, but its next phase of implementation should strike a proper balance between fiscal prudence and much needed increases in productive spending.
Yeah.
So in other words,
that's a dicey one right there.
In other words, the IMF is saying, okay, you've implemented these measures and now it's bringing in more money for you as a country. But it's saying, be careful how you're spending that money.
Very careful.
Be careful how you're spending that money.
Very careful.
That money is not just to increase salaries for people. Yes, that might be a component of it, but it can't just be that. So no one sector of our society should say we want all the money. Yeah? So you have to be careful now how you move into spending that money and you place it in the productive sectors.
At least a majority of it should go there.
Yeah, it says the government's 3-year medium-term fiscal framework charts a policy course of continued large primary surpluses through to 2021. However, once the public debt ratio reaches 55% of GDP, the fiscal responsibility legislation allows scope for recalibrating the primary balance target to stabilize debt at this level. In other words, once you get the debt down to 55% of the GDP, you get it down further, and it's trending towards there, that it releases you now of some of the restrictions you have on spending. So the IMF is saying, Grenada, because you're doing so well, soon you're going to be down below that 55%. And it will loosen the government's hand now to do some spending that it could not have done before.
Much needed spending in services.
It's telling the government, you have to be careful how you're doing that spending. You can't just say, okay, we go in and do the pensions at that level and spend all the money on pensions.
Discipline.
Because
equity,
it would be unsustainable.
Yeah.
You're going to crash. You can't just say you're going to take all that money and spend it in one sector. But you have to spend it in sectors that are going to generate more money.
Exactly.
It's the same as when we say you put your money in NIS and NIS lend your money out and they take bonds and so on with your money to double it. It's saying to the government, you have that money, but wherever you put the money, it's supposed to be bringing money back in. It can't just be, okay, we're going to spend all on healthcare. Yes, healthy people, everything, you spend all the money on healthcare, but that doesn't generate revenue. So you're going to spend some on that. Yes, you must spend some on it, but you have to spend some on other areas as well that are going to generate money back into the Grenadian economy. Right? So it says, an effective and prudent use of fiscal space could maximize the economy's productive potential and resilience to shocks. In other words, you start more manufacturing locally.
Yeah.
The poultry industry that we keep talking about, that we're spending $200 million a year on. $2 billion every 10 years. Grenadians, we eating too much chicken. $2 billion every 10 years.
And we're importing so much fish, and look, we're surrounded by water.
Smoke herring, saltfish, canned tuna, mackerel. You can't spend Easter without eating mackerel. Who says we have to eat mackerel at Easter?
Exactly. Or that type. Well, I mean, you could eat it around Easter, and we can produce it.
Some of these things come from all Norway and all these kind of places.
Yeah.
So while it is necessary, we have to be careful how we spend our money.
Exactly.
Yeah? So it's saying here that if the government now sends some of that money into these productive sectors, that it can help the economy. But you know the big thing there? A lot of we jumping up, spend the money on the productive sector, but when they produce local, we ain't eating it. We still want the bacalao.
Yeah.
We want to see that it packaged from overseas.
And the carbonated drinks.
Yeah. We want to see that the saltfish or the smoked herring come from in Grand Mall in the Fisherman's Cooperative there. And they have the capability of doing it, and they've done it before. But we Grenadians ain't buy it. We still take millions of dollars and spend it outside, where we could have had a serious industry running right there in Grand Mall.
Even take the local chicken that we produce here. Limited as it is, you're still finding farmers having problems selling it on the local market. And it's the best.
And that's craziness.
Yes. I mean, we have to do better than that.
Grenadians, just remember that figure. $2 billion every 10 years we spending on chicken into this country. $2 billion.
That's a lot. You know what $2 billion could do for us as a small economy? You know how many schools, how many roads, the healthcare services?
You know what?
I mean,
I think the Republic of St. John are the people that are doing the proper thing, you know. The Republic of St. John is one of the places that I didn't think, they maybe does buy some saltfish and thing, but it does corn a lot of the fish.
A lot.
Carriacou too, they does corn a lot of the fish. You see St. John and Carriacou? There's two places that does corn a lot of the fish. But the other areas, man, what's going on with us?
We need to up our game. We need to provide more. It's there. We just need to put the energies, resources, and get it done.
So the IMF is telling us the same thing that the man who was born, how much years ago today, Maurice Bishop?
75 years.
75 years ago today was telling us to eat local.
Go local. 40-something years ago, he was telling us that.
So Maurice was telling us, the IMF, and that's on where, because Maurice Bishop and IMF, you know, both of them were saying the same thing.
Same thing.
And the government of Grenada now is saying the same thing. So we're saying, and as Grenadian people, we're saying to the government, put money into those industries, put money into those industries. But when it's put into those industries, we the same people are telling the government put it into the industries, not buying it.
They're not supporting. Why?
We're not buying it.
That is craziness.
There is no way that Grenadians should be buying saltfish from outside of Grenada. We have no need to buy saltfish from outside of Grenada. Even during the revolution, they were salting fish here.
We were making
and they were smoking fish here. And it was done up to recently in Grand Mall. And I know that they still have the equipment, they still have the capability, and they still have the supply of fish to be able to do it in Grand Mall. But the problem is, every time they start it up, over the years I've seen it start and stop several times in different places here. You remember Bacon at the Sea?
Yeah.
By the Cooperative Fishermen Society and so on. Where is that now?
Just go on there.
Wonderfully packaged and everything. But we, as Grenadians,
we don't support.
We ain't support it. And then we complain. So we telling government do these things. You hear a lot of them talking about, so much mangoes wasting, and so can the mango and see if they're still going and buy orchard instead.
Exactly.
Or Trinidad citrus fruit juice. Or they're going and buy the one out of Barbados that comes in here. Or they're going and buy the gulp and the gully and the flavor aid and all these kind of things. We are still going and buy that.
Instead of we doing it and we start getting our young ones to get accustomed with it, introducing it into the schools, into the workplaces, to our sportsmen and women.
So when Minister Oliver Joseph was in here with us, and if you listen to Prime Minister speaking and you listen to other ministers speaking, continue to speak about the importance of developing these local industries. But developing them is one part. Us as Grenadians taking ownership of it and deciding that we will support it is another.
That's the biggest challenge, you know.
Our child is going to school in the morning, but you want to buy the case of orchard. But there are things produced locally that can be used instead. So we have to make sure that what we support, that once the government makes that move, that we support it. We have to make sure.
Take, for example, Pennacool. Simple as it is, Pennacool. Right, we will prefer to support the carbonated type Pennacool than the local ones that are made here, much more nutritious.
So
the
IMF, remember the IMF, an effective and prudent use of fiscal space could maximize the country's productive potential and resilience to shocks. In other words, If another country go offline for a while, it doesn't affect us because we produce certain things here.
We have a portion.
We produce certain things here, especially when it comes to food. We produce it here. You shouldn't be getting cabbage and lettuce and vegetables from outside
carrots and all this type of thing outside.
We could produce these things and keep that money in Grenada. So if something happened to somebody, we ain't starving. We have it here.
Agriculture.
All right?
Agricultural basic.
Even when we eat less rice.
Eat less rice.
Eat more ground provision.
More fig, more yam, more potato.
There has to be, along with the fiscal responsibility that government has implemented and is maintaining, there has to be a national responsibility of each and every Grenadian that outside of government's fiscal responsibility, we're going to be doing things that are going to make less money leave our country.
Yes. And I'll come back and use the word. We have to be more disciplined in our attitude, in the ways we do things, what we eat, all right, and what we support. We have to, if we need to continue.
Because the IMF is saying here as well, however, if the fiscal space is used to finance unproductive spending, it could fuel debt sustainability concerns. So if the money, if government has a set of money now and it uses it just for salaries or just for pension.
Increase of pay and what and what.
And those sort of things, gratuities and all this. If it uses all the money that it's getting now, it just uses it on that alone, then what will happen at the end of the day is that you will run out of money. You will be unable to sustain the amount that you're paying out. Because remember, in the cases of NS and so it's only a portion of what you're getting, how much times what you're paying in, government will not be able to sustain it. So it could fuel sustainability concerns. They're saying that to us. Yeah? It says to Grenada's infrastructure and resilience gaps are key priorities that need to be addressed with the increased resource envelope. So it's speaking about things as the roads and bridges and development and those sort of things now. Because if you're producing stuff, you need to get it to market.
You need to.
So your infrastructure is important.
Farm roads.
Yeah.
All these things must be developed.
Even your telecommunication network, your utility network, your water supply. You can be producing agricultural produce and you don't have a sustainable water supply. So all of these areas have to be looked at as well. And they have to be looked at in conjunction with climate change. So the things like working along with Grenlec or whoever for solar power, helping Nawasa improve its capability. You see Nawasa working with a plan right now. They're increasing catchment areas, they're replacing pipelines, they're dealing with storage and all these sort of things. Working along, looking at your infrastructure and how you improve your infrastructure and those sort of areas as well. And Devon, we might have to take a little 2 minutes over the time because I realize some people trying to call. We're going to take your call in a little while now. Right? So they speak of several areas, and folks, I think in fact it's so much to talk about here. It's more than an hour, 2 hour program.
And we could go it over again in another program, bits and pieces. But it's very important for us as people to understand where we at.
Yeah, in fact, I don't think I should even go too much further into it. But just remember that it cannot just be fiscal responsibility by the government. No. There has to be national responsibility by each and every one of us. Every man, woman, and child. Not just every business person. Not just every worker in our country. There has to be national responsibility. Not to pull out a flag and wave at independence and say, oh, Grenada, we love you. That has to be part of who we are as Grenadians. We have to embrace the necessity for national responsibility along with the fiscal responsibility of the government. If we don't do that, as much as the government tries with the fiscal responsibility, there will always be challenges. Let's take this call.
Good morning and welcome.
Morning, my brethren.
Yes.
Morning.
How are you doing?
Hey, fine, man.
You good?
Yeah, man. Hey, I make out the voice.
I can't hear.
Because I know time is short.
Yeah.
Haile Selassie said in a speech to the UN many years ago, he said, free yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. I will leave that there.
All right, brother.
The aspect of growing what you eat and eat what you grow, I don't know how we could change our mentality unless we start working on some minds.
Mm-hmm.
So, Devon.
Yes, boss.
I know you're good at prayer. So, we might need some divine intervention. So I'm leaving it in your care. I ain't not sure about how Sheldon is, bro. I ain't not sure.
No, don't worry, you covered.
All right, brother.
All right, one love.
Here, guys.
Okay, take care.
Yeah, me pray you crying, man. Yeah, but it's important. And listen, every man, woman, and child has to be taught that. They have to be taught that it's better for a snack for a child, because as a child growing up, and I could, without even asking, say the same was the case for Devon, the same was the case for Nazi being here, and many of you listening, our fast food was skin up, golden apple,
mango,
French cashew,
banana.
That's fast food for us.
Plum.
Yeah. So our money wasn't going to some company in Trinidad making some kind of sweets.
Cash pan.
Our money was staying right here. Thing like even stinking to and all kind of thing, looking for a local
fudge.
Yeah.
Sugar cake.
Sea grapes.
I mean,
all kind of thing.
The works.
We used to eat it here.
And healthy too. Eating healthy.
You all want to take a guess, and we're gonna ask the minister when he come in to work with those figures too, as to how much Grenadians spend in these snacks and so that coming out from places like Trinidad, Barbados, and so on.
That might outspend chicken.
Yeah, probably it might be more than chicken.
Yeah.
We're going to ask the minister when he come in to work with those figures.
On a weekly basis.
We have to have that discussion.
Yeah, have to.
Because our children alone probably costing billions of dollars to the Grenadian economy over a period of time in outflows.
Things that we don't have.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're going to school and what again? Bourbon, that don't make here. Yeah. Bourbon, Dixie, that don't make here. Buster, that don't make here. The Coca-Cola and so on, the Coca-Cola line and stuff, you're getting it here.
You're getting it here.
It made here in Tempe and so on. Not the most healthy.
No, but
at least it made here.
Yes.
Right?
It's one of our locally made. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And so we have all of these things that are now the fast food of our children. When children say, me eating mango, I do eating pawpaw. What are you talking about?
Olay and all these type of things that is seen on in packet and.
I'm nothing against Dave Monroe and these companies. Nothing against them. They're offering a service and people want the service. But I'm saying on the national level, we have to reduce our spending on these things.
I have to be conscious of what we eat.
Yeah. We have to reduce our spending because listen, there are certain areas that we can't reduce our spending on, you know. We can't reduce our spending on pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. Health.
You need to buy it, and it isn't made here. You have to buy it from outside of Grenada. We don't build and make cars or car parts here in Grenada. So in order to keep the fleet of vehicle that we have here running, we have to buy it from outside. So there are certain areas that you could say, okay, you have to continue your spending on that. Maybe not as much, but you have to continue your spending on that. And if we live the healthy lifestyle, we're reducing the amount of pharmaceuticals we have to buy anyway.
Exactly.
Right? But we have to ensure that even when it comes to our children, that's why I say it's the responsibility of every man, woman, and child in this country to take that national responsibility to help the government along. And you're not just helping the government as in helping the NNP, you know, you're helping the government, belongs to everybody, you're helping the country.
Yeah, you're helping yourself.
Yeah? You all know, so man in the bush going for mango, and you pass and you see some ripe figs, so you go with that too. Yeah, or you have some popo, some mami sipo.
And them times it wasn't pretty a last night because we used to take what we could eat, not take to sell. See? We take what we could eat, passing through somebody's land, and leave some for him. Not take and to eat and then take to sell. No, that's pretty a last night.
Yeah.
You know?
Or you're making some breadfruit chips, or you're making some plantain chips, or fried plantain, or your cassava is a thing you don't see much of again as you used to before. But cassava very healthy and offers the cassava cakes and all this bread and the cassava pudding. So what you had there was a truly 100% local industry. Now we keep training our children. We pass in the supermarket and all the brightly colored packages of plastic that end up in the landfill and rotting there for the next 2 million years. And we purchase these things and we give our children.
Yep. We're not letting them take a sip of honey every morning.
Yeah.
You know, locally made honey, the best in the world. I mean, you know, so we have a lot to do.
You know, the bees and them pollinate with all kind of...
Exactly.
Yes, nutmeg and
that
all kind of
flavor and everything like that. That is why we top of the world in that.
Right.
We need to support.
Yeah. Folks, that's all the time we have for Hard Talk today. It's been wonderful being here with you, and everything you say and do it safe and secure. We want to be speaking to and with you.
And not about you.
And just before, let me see, any other meetings for? No meetings for this week. So we'll give you the information for the meetings and them tomorrow for the rest of the month. That's all the time we have today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Huh? Nice, beautiful.
Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new national party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.
Grenada's plans to transform the agriculture sector highlighted at international meeting in Guyana. Details to this story and more in the national report. With the details to the news for Tuesday, January 29th, I am Leslie Ann Johnson. Some of Grenada's plans to transform the agriculture sector took the spotlight at the 17th session of the Committee for the Review of the Implementation of the UN Convention to Combat Desertification, or UNCCD, being held in Guyana. The plans were highlighted by this country's Agriculture Minister, the Honorable Yolande Bain Hosford, who is among more than 400 delegates from all over the world. A major talking point is the link between desertification, land degradation, and climate change. Minister Bain Hosford spoke to some of the initiatives to tackle the challenges.
Grenada undertook the setting up of the voluntary land degradation neutrality (LDN) targets, and that should be achieved by 2030. And the targets were increase the fertility and productivity of 580 hectares of cropland by 2030, transform 800 hectares of abandoned cropland into agroforestry by 2030. Implement soil conservation measures on 120 hectares of land by 2030. Rehabilitation of 385 hectares of degraded land at Bellevue South in Carriacou, that's an island near to Grenada, small island, by 2030. Rehabilitation of 100 hectares of degraded forest in Grenada and Carriacou by 2030. And increase forest carbon stocks by 10% by 2030. These are the targets that we hope to achieve.
The Agriculture Minister also provided information on a Moroccan government-funded project that relates to soil mapping.
Regarding soil care, the transformative project, funded by the Moroccan government, we started a project in soil care and the mapping of the soil, etc. in Grenada. We now have almost completed that project. We can hand over to the farmers now pretty soon information so that they can do the proper planting, they can know the fertility of the soil, they can know how much fertilizer to put in the soils, what not to put, and that kind. So they'll have a status on their soils in Grenada. We have done that project. It's almost completed. And that would be a plus for the farmers, knowing, how much fertilizer to add to their soil, what they can, do to their soil, knowing how healthy their soils are and what they can plant, and the timing and all of that. All of that is part of the whole soil care program in Grenada, and it's going very well.
Grenada is also represented at the meeting by Mr. Trevor Thompson, focal point for the UN Convention to Combat Desertification. The convention will conclude on Wednesday. The government of Grenada has made good on a promise to introduce traffic wardens as part of innovative efforts to bolster the work of the traffic department of the Royal Grenada Police Force. The move comes against the background of a significant increase in the number of vehicles on the nation's roads, a growing number of traffic offences committed by motorists, and an ongoing need to safeguard pedestrians. Addressing the 60 persons who are being trained as the first group of traffic wardens, Minister for Transport, the Honorable Gregory Bowen, said this is the first component of the solution to fix the traffic situation.
Every year,
during the last 5 years, from 2013 to 2018, the increase in registration was 42%. For ease of calculation, and if we use a 50%, that is, if the number of vehicles, the registration number increased by 1,000 in 2013, there will be an increase of 500. So the increase in the next year will be 1,500. And the next year will be 2,200. So between that period and now, the actual number was in the range of 19,000 vehicles, which approach now 36,000 vehicles. That is a task that we have to address. And you are in the forefront.
Minister Boyne urged the traffic wardens to maintain a harmonious relationship with the motorists and pedestrians alike, and he encouraged them to pay particular attention to the customer service training, which forms part of their course. Acting Commissioner of Police, Mr. Edwin Martin, cited traffic management as a great challenge for law enforcement daily and expressed optimism that the traffic wardens will improve the efficiency of the traffic department.
Traffic management is a major challenge for law enforcement on a daily basis. And even when there is no law enforcement issue requiring the RGPF's attention, the challenges associated with traffic management remains omnipresent. This challenge is further exacerbated by the fact that the number of registered vehicles on island has increased by an average of 68% over the last 5 years and continues to grow. This makes traffic management not only challenging, but also a critical operational matter requiring law enforcement attention on a 24-hour basis, 7 days a week. It is also safe to say that the sheer increase in the volume of traffic, when combined with individual driver and pedestrian negligence, as well as non-compliance with our traffic regulation, are major drivers to the increase in accidents we are witnessing currently. The traffic warden system is considered to be a critical element among a number of other strategies to be implemented to effectively address the current and future challenges related to traffic management.
The Ministry of Health is developing a national emergency unit for Grenada. The intention is to enhance the ministry's ability to efficiently respond to emergencies in the quickest possible time.
We held 2 meetings with key stakeholders to develop a policy to govern that response team. One of our objectives of this initiative is to have ambulance placed in strategic places, our location, to respond to emergencies. Why we want to do that is in an effort to reduce our response time. As we all know, there are delays in our response time. We hear it on the media and so on. And to provide quality care in a timely manner.
That's Ms. Joanna Humphrey, Deputy Director of Hospital Services. She was speaking during the handover of an ambulance to the Crash Fire Rescue Department at the Morris Bishop International Airport. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
It is here again, it is here again. The Made in Grenada Expo is here again. And I just hope the whole of Grenada ready, because I sung in a clarion call. The Made in Grenada Expo is here again. The Made in Grenada Expo is on February 7th, and the public is encouraged to come out and give full support and buy out all local products on show. Products manufactured right here in Grenada, 100% Grenadian, and it's happening right here at the National Stadium. Are taking in the Independence Parade and the Made in Grenada Expo one time. I am so excited. That's why I'm making a fireside. I bring my tent, my blanket and all kind of thing, and I'm camping right here until everything done on February 7th. The Made in Grenada Expo is here again.
Your new Independence Monarch, celebrating 45 years. Give it up for Sour Serpent!
Sour Serpent Sean Niles is still savouring the taste of victory in the Independence Calypso competition, which was held at the Sater's bus terminus on Saturday. 14 Calypsonians competed for the title, which was captured last year by Rootsman Kelly, who did not take part in the competition this year. Top Cat placed second, followed by German superstar Simon third, Baraka 4th, and the Messenger 5th. Acting Minister for Culture and the Arts, the Honourable Kate Lewis, says this is a proud moment for Grenadians as the country celebrates 45 years as an independent nation.
As we look back on our 45 years, we can do so with pride and dignity, because as a nation, as a people, we have made tremendous strides despite the challenges that we have had to overcome.
Other major activities that are yet to come include the cultural extravaganza on Saturday, February 2nd, the ecumenical service on February 3rd, village beautification and oil dunk competition February 5th, National Colors Day on February 6th, and the National Parade at the National Stadium on February 7th. And that's the National Report. I'm Leslie Ann Johnson.
The new family of EC polymer notes.
What is different about these notes?
The feel.
Polymer notes are made from a thin plastic film which makes the notes feel smoother than the paper notes.
The orientation.
The notes have a portrait orientation. You will read the notes from top to bottom instead of left to right as you do with the paper notes.
Unique tactile feature.
The front of each note has raised bumps at the top left-hand corner. These bumps form shapes that are familiar to you.
Holographic foil strip.
This feature is on the $20, $50, and $100. When you tilt the notes, the images and colors in this section will change.
New image on the $50.
The back of the $50 bears the image of former governor of the ECCB, the late Honorable Sir K. Dwight Venner.
New signature.
All the notes bear the signature of the current governor, Timothy N.J. Antoine.
EC polymer notes. Cleaner, safer, stronger.
Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new National Party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.